All right, boys, you guys ready to see who got the longest bush?
Yeah, I got this. Let's go.
All right, boys, let's go.
All right, boys, ready? 3,
2, 1,
bush!
A possible link to autism. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Trump just announcing his administration's new warning that use of acetaminophen, the main ingredient in Tylenol during pregnancy, could lead to an increased risk of autism. The maker of Tylenol and some medical experts have already pushed back, citing previous studies and safety findings.
Instead of attacking those who ask questions, everyone should be grateful for those who are trying to get the answers to this complex situation.
The FDA plans to notify physicians about the potential risk. The man accused of plotting a second Trump assassination attempt rests his case. Ryan Ruth defending himself at his federal trial in Florida, calling just 3 witnesses, including a firearms expert, testifying about the operability of the gun found in a suspected sniper nest on a Trump golf course where the president was playing.
The court also heard from Atwill Milson, a friend of Ruth's son, Orrin. Milson said the defendant was calm under stress, gave people jobs, and offered everything he had. Stories that Ruth had run over an employee with his truck. During redirect, Ruth clarified that he, quote, backed out and the worker fell down.
Fox's Jonathan Seri at federal court in Fort Pierce. Ruth suggesting he was only out for attention. Closing arguments expected tomorrow morning. After a week-long suspension, ABC parent company Disney says it's resuming production of Jimmy Kimmel's late night show. In a statement read by Fox's Michelle Polino,
"We have spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and after those conversations, we reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday." Disney did not address whether future content from Kimmel will face additional review.
Disney says some of Kimmel's comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive after the death of Charlie Kirk. America is listening to Fox News.
News.
The suspect in a deadly...
Hey, I'm Trey Gowdy, host of the Trey Gowdy podcast. I hope you will join me every Tuesday and Thursday as we navigate life together and hopefully find ourselves a little bit better on the other side.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcast.com.
Shooting at a New Hampshire country club over the weekend makes a first court appearance.
In a very brief hearing, a formal arraignment for Hunter Nato was waived, with the judge telling the defendant,
"We're going to schedule this for a probable cause hearing, okay?"
Okay.
That was Nato acknowledging his next court date. He's right now facing only a second-degree murder charge in the death of Robert DeCesar, a guest at the Sky Meadow Country Club. Prosecutor Peter Hinckley is expecting more counts.
We understand and realize there are additional victims. We anticipate there will be additional charges that both relate to those victims who have not been named yet, as well as the murder victim.
The probable cause hearing is set for October 1st.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Investigators have noted reports about the suspect shouting "Free Palestine," but say other comments were reported as well. Just getting word that Boston Mayor Michelle Wu will run unopposed in her bid for re-election. This after the third-place finisher in a recent preliminary vote failed to get enough votes to advance to the general election after a just-finished recount. Wu had been expected to face fellow Democrat Josh Kraft, the son of NFL owner Robert Kraft, but he dropped out after losing in the preliminary election. Hurricane Gabrielle is now a Category 4 storm, still on track to pass Bermuda and head northeast, but kicking up big swells all along the U.S. East Coast.
Dangerous time for Indian summer beachgoers with unguarded beaches and warnings of swells likely to cause life-threatening surf and rip current conditions. With two more areas of possible tropical development behind Gabrielle.
Fox's Therese Crowley. Gabrielle is now about 180 miles east-southeast of Bermuda. Top sustained winds 140 miles per hour. New highs on Wall Street. The Dow up 66 points to 46,381. The S&P and the NASDAQ also with a record close. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
This is Jason Chaffetz from the Jason in the House podcast. Join me every Monday to dive deeper into the latest political headlines and chat with remarkable guests.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcast.com
or wherever you download podcasts.
Fox Sports Update.
The round of 12 underway in NASCAR's playoffs.
From practice to the front row to victory lane, Ryan Blaney wins in New Hampshire.
Courtesy USA, Blaney took the checkered flag at New Hampshire, guaranteeing his spot in the Final 8. He was fifth in the standings entering the day. William Byron finished second to move up from sixth to second in the playoff points. In Formula One, four-time defending points champion Max Verstappen won his second straight race at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. He's now third in the standings. The defending Super Bowl champ stayed undefeated Sunday. The Eagles rallied from 19 down and blocked a field goal try on the final play to hand the Rams their first loss, 33-26. Elsewhere in the NFL, the Niners won the other battle of 2-0 teams, 16-15 over the Cardinals. The Colts are 3-0, cruising past the Titans 41-20. The Chargers beat the Broncos 23-20 to get to 3-0. And one other undefeated team, the Bucs beat the Jets 29-27 on a field goal as time expired. Ben Johnson got his first win as head coach of the Bears, 31-14 over the Cowboys. Caleb Williams, 4 touchdowns. The Browns got their first win, handing the Packers their first loss, 13-10. Without quarterback Joe Burrow, the Bengals turned it over 5 times in a 48-10 blowout loss to the Vikings. Backup quarterback Marcus Mariota led the Commanders past the Raiders 41-24. The Jaguars beat the Texans 17-10. The Panthers got their first win, 30-0 over the Falcons. The Steelers beat the Patriots 21-14, and it was all Seahawks over the Saints 44-13. New AP Top 25 out for college football. Ohio State still number 1. Oklahoma jumped into the top 10 at number 7, and Indy Indiana, the big mover, from 19 to 11 after putting up 63 points on number 9 Illinois, who dropped all the way to 23. And Hockey Hall of Famer Bernie Parent has died. The goalie led the Philadelphia Flyers to their only 2 Stanley Cup titles in 1974 and 75. He was 80 years old. For more scores, stories, and features, go to foxsports.com. I'm Tim McMaster.
Get more on the Fox Sports app and foxsports.com.
This is Jimmy Fallon, inviting you to join me for Fox Across America, where we'll discuss every single one of the Democrats' dumb ideas. Just kidding. It's only a 3-hour show. Listen live at noon Eastern or get the podcast at foxacrossamerica.com.
If you see something, say something. And stay anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers at 234-7272 or submit a tip online at nmicrimestoppers.com. No names, no caller ID, no recordings, just your info. And if your tip leads to an arrest, you could earn up to $1,000 in cash. Your tips have helped take hundreds of criminals off the streets in the NMI. It works because of you. Crime Stoppers, we want your information, not your name. PHI is your local pharmacy serving customers in Cagman, Garapan, and Dandan since 1996. Shop PHI Pharmacy for all your prescriptions, and we even offer a large line of multivitamin supplements. Our Dandan location is open weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 4 on weekends. Or visit our Garapan and Cagman locations weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 1 on Saturdays. Check us out online at phipharmacy.com or follow us on Facebook. PHI is a locally owned independent community Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
As the day unfolds with laughter and cheer, Brad's got the magic that brings us all near. Sharing tales of hope, dreams that shine bright. Good morning, Marianas, together we ignite. So join the palm trees, we dance through the days. Rhythm and soul, so many ways. Together we rise through the moments we share. Good morning, Marianas, feel the love everywhere. Wake up to the sunshine in the morning light. Good vibes all around, everything feels right. Brad on the show, bringing joy to our day. Into the Marianas breeze, let the worries drift away. Yeah, that was the air. Connection grows stronger. We show that we care. Rock on, feel the soulful flow. Look right on in Mariana, that's where you belong. The sweet island breeze and the ocean's embrace. Brad's got the stories, sunlight we face. Southside meditated, fall in this ride. Yeah, we're shining with love as our guide. So raise your voices high, let the music play on. Good morning, Marianas, we're where you belong.
All right, holy smokes, it's Tuesday. So good morning, Marianas. It is Tuesday. It is September 23rd, and there is so much going on today. I don't know where you want to begin. I know where we're going to be getting to. We're going to be talking all about that budget. We're going to talk about the craziness that's going on with it. Talk about what the heck is in store for the Marianas in the next few years. Do I have all those answers? No. Are we going to try to get to them? Yeah. Are we going to talk to you guys? Yes. We're definitely going to talk to you guys about all this stuff. We've got so much going on, and I definitely want to share it with you. We're going to talk about, I'll tell you, but we'll walk through all the notes that I took yesterday. Got the meeting all transcribed and all that stuff. Which, by the way, I owe that to somebody. I want to send that to somebody, in fact, right now, as we get ready for the day. And while we do that, let's start getting you ready with everything that's going on. And I guess maybe we'll talk about weather first, and then we'll get to traffic, and then we'll get into all that meaty stuff. And then by 8:30, we've got folks coming in from the Center for Living Independently. I love them so much. They're going to be coming in and talk about this big golf tournament that they have on the way. Anyway, right now, beautiful day, 82 degrees out here in sunny Saipan. Exactly what we want after yesterday, after hearing all that gloomy news. Mostly sunny skies, high near 86 today. A nice wind out of the east, 6 to 13 miles per hour. Weather is looking good, and it's feeling good, too. Humidity's at 85% up at the Saipan International Airport, and that is very nice. I like it. Is much success. It's going to be just fine for us. And man, well, yesterday there wasn't school. Today we definitely have school. So let's get into talking about a little bit about traffic while you're out there on the roads trying to get everywhere you need to today. Probably got kids need to go to school. From far away, it doesn't look too bad, but once you get a little bit closer, you can see where all the trouble spots are beginning, like all the way down there by Guangdong Hardware. Folks trying to get everywhere by that bus stop. They are stuck by the bus over there at Guangdong Hardware, but they will get moving soon. Over there in Chalampio, it's not too bad because the kids over there at Hopwood dropped off. It is a creeper slow if you're taking Tun Joaquin Doi down the hill, making your way out to CK. Definitely slow over there, so don't try to be a hero. Parents trying to get their kids over to Mount Carmel. There is a little bit of traffic over there at the light and making your way north on Beach Road. Actually, it looks pretty good. That's not going to really hit for a while because the traffic at Marianas High School is going to pick up as they get closer to the start of school, which is at 9 o'clock. Isn't that crazy? I know, right? Anyway, what are you going to do? Traffic along the CMG between Beach Road and Middle Road is a little congested as folks trying to get their way through that intersection. And over by the intersection that matters, by the place where connections matter, you can see there's a whole lot of yellow going on for people who just want to go east and west. Well, at least they're by the phone company that we like best. Hey, that's right, ITini. It's a little bit hectic if you're trying to get through the Chalonquilla area over there by Waterloo as well, but that is what happens this time of the day. Making your way north, a little bit slow over there by Jotan Motors. Let's keep going because over there by Quartermaster Road and Middle Road, it is slow in every direction that you're trying to get through over there. So just be patient. That is not going to be a fast spot for you to get through. As you make your way closer to Garapan, everything is looking mighty fine. A little traffic over there by the tennis/pickleball courts. Puerto Rico's looking mighty good, too. Getting past Enos Kitchen's great. Man, Enos Kitchen was great yesterday for lunch. Where you are going to run into traffic is if you are trying to get through the back Island Road by the Rodeo Drive section of Saipan over there at New Sarah Market, Zenu Market, and Capitol Hill Market. And you are going to be stuck behind buses. And good luck with that. Don't pass them. Remember, when they've got that sign out, you do not want to go out there and be somebody who's contributing to a terrible accident. Don't be that guy or lady. You could definitely be lady too. But that is the slowest part in Saipan right now. That's why we always take the NMI Newscopter when we're going into the office. We skip all that traffic and never bothers us at all. Hey, speaking of flying, over there by the home of the Canaries, there's a little bit of traffic. You can see all that yellow over there. Most of the kids in there on time. Akidza Drive is the real drop-off street, but that's where the by Tutaram Drive and Issa Drive is where they all come together by the old San Vicente Roundhouse. There's a roundhouse no more, but, you know, if you know, you know. You know what's really surprising, though, is things are looking good over at Shell Dandan. You know where it doesn't look good? People trying to come up the hill by NMC. Boy, oh boy, that looks awful as that line stretches far back, almost all the way back to Eco Hardware. And but once you get up to the hill, it's really nice because you get to take a look at that really cool student center that's on tap to open this year. What? I know they don't have a specific date. It is, or at least it was, on time. But right now it's looking just fine, and they're getting closer and closer to opening day. Speaking of being on time, you want to get to places on time and you don't have a ride, you can get all hooked up with the folks over at Transit CNMI. That's right. You can hop on the Blue Line, take them anywhere you need to go from Culverville to Papago. No, it doesn't go to Papago, but it would rhyme. It wouldn't. All the way down to the Paseo, though, down in Garapan. Eventually, they're going to go all the way around the island and all around all the islands. But right now, they're doing what they can with what they've got. They're figuring out what works and what not. And then eventually, you're going to be able to go everywhere they go. Right now, the Blue Line is great. They're open from 6:30 in the morning to 8:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Weekends on holidays, 6:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. It's $2 to get anywhere you need to go on the Blue Line. And if you're a student, veteran, Monamco, active duty military, or if you've got a disability, that's only $1 per ticket. That's right, 50% off for you. And even better, you can get more information at 236-2682. They got great buses. They look great. They feel great. They even smell great. And even better, they've got free Wi-Fi. Free Wi-Fi. Oh my gosh, that's the best. You can cram on your last little bit of homework on your way to school, or you can cram your last little presentation on your way to work. You know, by the way, let's put that back on there, because you can see where the buses are while you're sitting there at the bus stop, like, and you're tapping your foot, like, where is that bus? Well, you can see it right there. Northbound bus is on its way to Garapan. It's almost in Garapan right now and nearing Paseo de Marianas. The southbound one is over there by Jota and Dandan, making its way to NMC. So you can see where the two active buses are on the route. And as all of that happens, you can see that there's one that says not in service. That's a bus that's just waiting to hang out to help people out in the event that something happens bad with one of the buses so they can fix it. Yep, and that's it. All right, well, that is your first look at traffic. You got some sports, you got some weather, you got them all together, and now we're back and ready for the show. Oh, my gosh, someone's going by here in a hurry, too. You can hear the emergency sirens flashing by. I didn't see it behind me, but they're out there for sure. Anyway, welcome back. It is Good Morning Marianas. It's 8:02 in the morning here on Tuesday, and today is September 23rd. Today's the day when we go and we honor the memory of the 13 fishermen. That mass will be tonight at 4 o'clock at the 13 Fishermen Memorial, Saipan. And that's going to be, this will be what, add 4 more years to that. Oh my God, this is the 39th year that they've held the commemorative event. And that's way back from 1986 during Typhoon Ben, when the MV Owl capsized. Not exactly sure where, but somewhere between Poggen and Mog. There were 12 Carolinian sailors and 1 Filipino boat mechanic. The folks will be remembered will be Isidro Rogopez Romolor, Jose Tasacan Igsayar, Silvestre Roligat Salapeo, Joaquin Lesua Moticio, Benusto Rabalaman Ulapai, Enrique Lesua Moticio, Guillermo Suarez, Benusto Malus Lesua, Joseph Letulumar Kaipap, Pedro Larope Metal, Martin Larope Suarez, Joseph Tergezu Lesua, and Jovencio Faguera. And if I mispronounced any of your names, sorry, I did my best on that one. But the thing is that today at 4 o'clock is when the mass will be at the 13 Fishermen Zoo. If you wish to go and commemorate their passing from Typhoon Ben in 1986. All right. Well, that's something I didn't want to skip over as we move on through the day. But again, 39th commemoration for their passing. And, speaking of passing, the House and the Senate has passed their budget move to take a loan from MPLT for $29 million. And there has been a considerable amount of pushback locally. Even, funny enough, from the students. And it's not negative necessarily, but at least people saying, why are you going to take a loan to pay for our bills? You're clearly, that can't be the best way going on taking care of our bills. But it's the only way to get them through for this year, and they're going to have to address it. Well, the amount of seriousness just got amped up because yesterday in the joint press conference between the governor, our Congresswoman, Kimberly King-Hines, Lieutenant Governor, Senate President, House Speaker, and more. Commissioner of Education was there. They had folks from the judiciary there. They had folks from everywhere. Were in there yesterday to talk about this budget shortfall that they are expecting. Not only are they expecting almost $23 million less for this fiscal year from what was originally forecast, what they're going to end up doing is even the end of this year is $2.8 million shortfall. And that is a rough one for everybody to handle. And so for the past week or so, they've been talking about it. These are things that came out in that press conference yesterday. That, here are some of the things that they're facing now. PSS could possibly lose accreditation. The settlement fund could go into receivership. CNMI could lose its health insurance. This is if they don't act fast and act together. So what's happened is that Congresswoman Kimberly King-Hines has been dealing with the folks from the Department of Interior and saying, look, we need some money or we're in big trouble, and it's happening fast. Oh, my gosh. I heard that message. I don't know what that is. That's a new one for me. A whole bunch of photos. Ooh. Oh, I know exactly what these are. Thank you. I know that that's from David. Thank you. I'll get to that in a bit. Wow, I didn't realize how terrible that looks. But thank you for sending those. So Kimberly King-Hines has been working for the past week with folks from the Department of Interior to find out how they can get money that doesn't require a congressional appropriation. They need money, and they need it now. So the Department of Interior has said that they are on board for helping the NMI. So that's great news. The thing is, it's going to come with an awful lot of conditions and a lot of asks on their end as well. Again, Congresswoman said, CNMI's a house, our house is on fire. And the NMI has got to do reforms. If we do not reform the way we're doing business over here in the CNMI, we're in trouble. We're not going to get any money from the federal government. And they said one of the things they're going to need us to do is push through that loan from MPLT. We're going to have to use our resources. We're going to get to that too, but they said that we're short. Our budgetary shortfall is really about $130 million, and that's even if the $29 million loan from MPLT goes through, which is pretty significant. And that was for all their obligations that they've got. Basically, Congresswoman said, we cannot continue operating at the current levels, and the only way Interior is going to be involved with helping us out is if the CNMI makes some real reforms, including they need to eliminate the duplication of positions, and we're gonna have to go into some austerity measures here. Again, the commitment from Department of Interior is based on the NMI exhausting all remedies. So that includes that $29 million loan, might include more. But they kind of waffled on that toward the end of it. We asked, how much money does MPLT have? And they're like, well, we're not going to try to give away everything. I'm like, okay, well, sure. Well, what exactly is it? Well, she said that no matter what, we are going to face some tough decisions, and they're going to have to do it quarterly. The first thing we need to do is get this $29 million loan across the finish line, and that'll be done. Second quarter, we're going to need support from the United States House of Representatives, and she said she's going to be going to everyone about this, dealing with folks on both sides of the aisle, because she said that Congresswoman said that there's folks on the GOP side that do not look kindly on bailouts, and she said, hey, let's not mince words here. This is a bailout, and the pressure is on her now to get this done. And she said that the things that she's going to need for the third and fourth quarters to get through are going to be even more stringent. So the federal government's going to have some asks for us. And what are they going to be asking about? Well, one of the things on the table is extending the Tinian military lease area. She said that's on the table. One of the folks asked the question yesterday, well, what more can they have? They already have 2/3 of the island. No, they're not looking at extending the land. They're talking about the term. And, someone's like, our islands are for sale? No. That's not what they're saying. So we asked later about that. What does that mean as far as terms? The original terms in the covenant was 100 years. And I want to say it was like $88 million. Maybe that's not right. But it's just the term that comes to mind. And the divert area by the airport was $21.9 million for that little bit. And that was leased directly through CPA. So we also asked if the lease with Tinian would be going through public lands or if it would be going through something else. Hold on. We got our call. All right. Halvdays on Tiro. Thanks for calling the show. It's Peeling. Peeling, can you hear me? Hello? Hold on, Peeling. I can hear you here. The ringing went to the Bluetooth. Why did this not answer with Bluetooth? Hey, Peeling, do me a favor. This is my fault because I am trying to figure out this new phone. Hold on. Where does it say Bluetooth on here? Does it? I don't know why it did not answer to the Bluetooth. It should have. Can you still hear me? All right. You got to try calling back, Peeling. Man, I don't know what happened. You are connected to the Bluetooth. We all heard it in the ring. All right, we gotta try this again. Right? What is going on? Hold on. Let me try this. This is I want to tell you this is 100% user error. You can't blame anybody on this other than me. Let's go to Bluetooth. Bluetooth is on, and I'm connected to the board. Why did that not answer? Well, I don't know why it didn't answer, but let's try. Oh, that's what I get with the new phone, trying to figure this thing out. Here, let's go to recents. Let's try calling you again. We're going to go through here. There we go. This should work.
You have reached 6-7.
All right, call us back. Peeling, call us back. I think I got it figured out. I think you just did try to call us back. Yep. Dispensa. That was me trying. You know what? I'm just going to try calling you back again. Yep, that's right.
You have reached 6.
You know what's happening? He's trying to call us
4,
back too.
8.
There you go. All right. Well, try calling us back, Peeling. Dispensa about that. So let's get back to this. All right, here we go. Accept. Audio, I got to put you here. Now I think I got you. Peeling, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. I can hear you perfect. I got you. Peeling, Gazetmo is on the phone. Peeling, lay it on me. What do you got, my friend?
Yeah, no, I just want to share some, some thinking about our situation there on our cinema. But to be honest, Brad, I think our leaders need to realize to the past, like the 400,000 for the MD Luta.
Yeah.
All those money that are just, went somewhere, we don't know where it went. If it went to heaven or wherever it went, and all those casino commissioners getting paid with no casino on all 3 islands. You gotta. Our leaders need to watch over our money, the people's money, so they can function the government. There's been a lot of things that they're not thinking twice. It's the same with the 5,000 monthly allowance. That we cannot even, the people cannot even ask what are they spending the money on. There's no accountability with the 5,000 monthly allowance on our political leaders. And when the best sunshine came in and we were making good money, they raised up the salaries because it's time that our leaders get a high paid salary, all of that, and then plenty board this, board that, assistant to assistant with high paid salary. But where at the end of the day, did it improve our way of life? No. Even the what you call that, the Department of Finance, they shut down the what they call that, newness or whatever, the one that keeps record on all the on where the money is going. They shut it down. You know, when we want to know where the money is going, it's very hard for them to explain. You know, even the boost program, they did that boost program so they can jumpstart the economy. But where now are we with the boost program? Did it produce anything and jumpstart our economy? So our leaders need to go back and find out if the people that received that boost money, did they really open up a business and contribute to the economy? No. But then again, if people speak out, you know, there's always somebody out there. Hey, why are you talking? Why are you talking? Why are they talking? Why are they asking? Of course, the people need to ask.
No,
need to ask.
Feeling you're definitely right, and I'll tell you, I think
we need to know.
The thing is that now there's more people than just the local folks who are asking. So now with Kimberly King Hines, now that she's working with the folks at the Interior is now looking at us to find out what changes we are going to make. And we have to make real changes. Otherwise, they are not going to support us. They're not going to be trying to get us money. She said this yesterday in that press conference, that we now have to make some serious changes here, or we're not going to get any of this federal aid to help us out.
Yes, I understand that. Even with the IPI. When they bring in IPI, the casino, when they brought in the casino, they said that money they're gonna help build a state-of-the-art hospital. They're gonna improve the school and all of that. Plenty promises to bring in the casino to help the retirees get their complete pensions and all of that. Plenty promises. Oh, the promises every election. Oh, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna vote for me, and we'll make sure that when you open your faucet water, either Mountain Dew or Bud Light can come out. Oh, but it never happened. Promise to improve, but we're not moving forward. We're going backward. Yeah. When are we going to move forward? Our leaders need to stop thinking about casino and gambling. So, invite Disneyland or SeaWorld or Magic Mountain, something like that. So, family-oriented. Then we can get tourists with their family to come and ride the roller coaster. Oh, who's going to want to bring their family to, how are they going to bring their children to go play poker and casino? Come on. I just want to share that. But again, somebody on that side, I'm going to make 10% now. Why is talking? Yeah.
No, these are good points, Feeling. I like it.
That's all like that. I love you guys. But see, the house is on fire. I pray that our EMS are ready to respond to kill the fire.
I love it.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you. Hey, we did get a call from Billy Joel. He said we didn't start that fire. All right, so there we go. That's Bill and Gazetmo calling from Guam. Great stuff, and thanks for tuning in. But no, you're absolutely right, and we can get into that. Let's get back into it. So again, one of the things on the table is extending the lease terms for Tinian. That doesn't mean more land, but it does mean an extended time for the lease to happen. And she said maybe 30 to 40 more years. Question is, how much money does that get us for the entire leased area? The little area by the airport for the divert project is $21.9 million. So if they use that, hopefully it's a whole lot of money for the extending 30 or 40 years for Tinian. Because if the military is going to lease that area and do stuff up there, we should at least get paid for it. So, I mean, that's it. She said, though, there are a lot more ideas being explored than just that. And that when more options start to come available, she's going to share that with us. She's only here for another week, and then she heads back to Washington, and she's going to be working on it. The governor said that our congresswoman has been with the administration every step of the way on this. And then he reached out to the Secretary of Finance, Tracy Narita, to start letting us know what's happening. He said that the budget's going to be she said, that the budget's going to be $156.7 million. Governor said that's shocking, and they're preparing themselves for the worst scenarios, and that includes austerity. And let's see what some of these things look like. First, Secretary of Finance, how do we get ourselves in this predicament? Peeling just told us a whole bunch of different things as well. Secretary of Finance said, hey, we have declining tourist levels, and our arrivals are low, and our tax collections are all lower than forecasted. And so now the revised budget is $22.9 million less than what they had anticipated. And that's for fiscal year 2026. All these budget hearings and everything like that was based on the higher figure. And now they're looking at, significantly less. Even for the rest of fiscal year 25, they're looking at a $2.8 million shortfall. So that's tough. So now they're going to try to figure out how they're going to deal with the settlement fund obligations, public school systems, NMC, MBA, health insurance, the local share for the Medicaid, and the utilities. And they, part of this is MBA. It's not MBA's fault. That's not what they're saying. But MBA projected tourism rebound didn't happen. And now we're looking at 129,000 visitors for the year. Think about that. We were approaching 500,000 before the pandemic, and now 129,000 per year. So they're coming up with immediate, medium, and long-term reforms that the CNMI is going to have to work with. And they're going to have to address the shortfall and still ensure that we have essential services. So what are they going to do? Well, they're talking about a reduction in work hours immediately. First they said immediately, and then they pulled that back. And that's a 64-hour pay period. They said a reduction in force, furloughs, and right-sizing the government, combining offices. And here, let's go to this. There was a short presentation that was given, and here's one of the screens that our finance secretary had. She said, look, we got a couple of scenarios of how we can handle things here. And look at those numbers right there. 40 million for PSS versus 32 million, dealing with all the obligations. And look, they're saying right there in that screen that scenario A gives PSS, well, there's a $9 million difference based on how they do the austerity cuts. 16-hour pay period, it would give you a 16-hour reduction would give you a 64-hour paycheck as opposed to 80, right? And then they would have available for personnel 59 million. Look at the other side. If they do an austerity cut of 25 hours, wow, that's 3 days off per pay period. So can you imagine that? That would be 1 week. Oh, hold on 1 second. 1 second. You're in the right place. I'm just on. Come on in. Come on in.
Do you have a restroom in here?
Yeah, the pink key on the wall, and it's right by the stairs.
Downstairs.
No, it's upstairs on our floor. Look, right there on the wall.
Okay.
There you go. Sorry, guys. Yeah, you got it. All right, so let's get back to it. Those are our guests who are coming in a little bit. Normally, I leave the door open. I had it locked this morning. All right, so anyway, so you look at that and you see those pay hours and those pay cuts. So 55-hour pay period versus a 64-hour pay period, and look at the difference on that. With the 16-hour pay period, that's 64 hours worked per pay period. They said that's with zero additional 25% for the retirees, and PSS gets $32 million. If you do, they're saying if you do scenario A, if they cut pay periods down to 55 per pay hour, that's a cut of 25 hours. Then PSS gets its $40 million, and the retirees get their 25%. So that's what you're looking at right now. This is what they showed with the MPLT loan. That is with the $29 million. So that's a lot to think about. That is a ton to think about when you're looking at it. And now our guests are in here like, oh, wait, I didn't hear that part. Now you're hearing it right now, right? Is this the first time you guys are hearing this as I'm saying it? Really? All right, so that's it. So there's scenario A and scenario B. By the way, the people who are coming in here right after this are going to give us way better news. They are great. But based on what they're looking at, again, gross revenues, their estimate budget for fiscal year 26 is $156,782,740. That doesn't change between scenario A and scenario B. These are two different things, and they really glossed over this in the meeting yesterday. They didn't spend a lot of time talking about that, but look at it. What are you looking at? You're looking at, would you rather have a 64-hour per pay period pay check with nothing going as far as the extra 25% to the retirees and PSS at 25%? Or are you willing to lose and go all the way down to a 55-hour pay period? That's 3 days off every pay period on top of your weekends. And the retirees get their extra 25%. That's $1.8 million. And PSS gets the $40 million. Again, that's with the MPLT loan. Imagine if there isn't the MPLT loan. And that is what is facing the Commonwealth right now. That's what they showed us. They also showed us, the possibility of something else here. Let's see. And let me show you the other options that they gave us. They were talking about, how else they can approach these things. Said, look, these, and by the way, these seem recycled, because this is from a financial summit that they had years ago. And they mentioned that as well. It says immediate work hour reductions, furloughs, reduction in force. Okay, that's what they were talking about yesterday. Implement travel freeze regardless of funding. Implement hiring freeze, yeah. Freeze on salary increases, yeah. Suspend PSSR for furlough and reduction in force, and all kinds of things in there. There's something else, increased tax enforcement. Unpaid holidays is one of the things they talked about as well. These are pretty heavy things that they talked about. I mean, well, I guess it's better to give than receive at the holidays is what they tell us, right? But still, that's not what we're looking at. But that is, some of the stuff that we're faced with. Now, I'll tell you what, folks, this is not just your regular, we got a call coming in. I got it. Hold on. Let's bring it in over here. Just a second there. One moment. See if I can answer you. Why am I not seeing you on the screen? I see you. We're going to call you right back because I can't get you on here. Why can't I get you on here? There we go. Fabian, I got you, but I'm going to call you back right now because it just didn't pop up on the screen. Fabian Indalacio is on the phone. Let's see.
Hello.
Fabian, can you hear us?
Yes.
All right. Hey, thanks for calling. We just had to call you back. We got to figure it out. What's going on, my friend?
Man, all those information that you're just putting out regarding the budget. Yeah, I'm kind of remembering back during the Torres administration.
Mm-hmm.
When Torres was threatening the retirees of the same thing. So, this thing kind of bring up my blood pressure again. The position of being very skeptic as to what are these leaders doing again. I understand a lot of our budget concern, but instead of facing the fact, these people start tossing out about retirees and PSS, and it's like they're making the government employees retirees again. So this thing, whether is the reality of the fact, or we're going to keep playing this game because now look at the approval of the MPLT, the Marianas Public Trust budget that was approved, heading to the governor, I guess. I don't know. But I think that is going to, on the sidelines to kind of supplement the shortfalls. This is nonsense, honestly. And I don't know whether the governor or the lieutenant governor, what's in their mind. But this is getting on my nerve. Because they're tossing this thing out, about furlough and, work hours cut. But this is not making the people of our island know, they're going to get angry again. Because, it's their kids versus themselves, and, this whole 9 yards of how we are living on this island. I heard one leader saying that, what do you call that? We should have got them leaders. I don't think their home is raining or feeling the rainy days because of their irresponsibilities. That's why sometimes I've been very quiet, but kind of following this through for many years as to how these leaders are, operates. And they think that people are, I don't know, I'll cuss on my own show, but my goodness. These people, my goodness, they need to do something. I understand about tourism. I understand about a lot of stuff, but, they can't just sit down and be creative on what other way of making revenues other than just tourism. And, the only thing that comes out of their mouth when things happen is, we don't have money. So everybody got a shut up. And everybody got a sideline. Things about casino and all other things they went on this trip about trying to find this and that. It's more of a trip more than, finding a real investment. So that's all my piece, my friend. That's all I want to say for these leaders. They need to do something other than, if they can't, then they just need to, take those pen and resign and get out.
No, I hear you.
Thank you, Brad.
Hey, Fabian, I'll tell you, one of the questions that we asked right away, the lieutenant governor and the governor said, hey, they're going to go after travel and, and some of the duplication of positions and all that. The other one, we reached out and we said, hey, speaking of travel, what about more local travel and vehicles for elected officials and vehicles for appointed officials? And we weren't calling anybody out in particular, but does the secretary of so-and-so need to have like an $80,000 car that we're paying for and paying for the gas? You don't have to reduce somebody's job. You don't have to fire somebody. That's at least two people right there that you could, maybe three people that you can stay hired. Let
me intervene, Brad, before I forget. That a lot of these leaders, the legislatures, maybe perhaps they need to surrender those monthly allotment because those are in the million as well.
Absolutely.
A lot of accountability on that, and they really hate to be, transparent to that because, we lose a lot of money on that. They talk about the government employees have to sacrifice hours, and that affects their family, their children going to school. The school are getting affected. Retirees that are old, that they can no longer go out and work for themselves too. and everybody is sacrificing, except, like I said, and I'm not going to try to generalize politicians, but there's only one probably I think they're not feeling the rainy days when they're talking about, no, what they should have saved during the government time, during the pandemic time, all kinds of, we should have saved. But they're the same leaders that mess things up, in our government. So leaders, they need to somehow reflect on themselves and stop talking about, things in the past that, in contrary to what they were the one who did it. So I'm kind of getting angry, as far as sitting home with a lot of people in our community getting affected, people going to the mainland to work. Most of my kids are in the mainland, surviving. Because if they were over here, they're going to probably need my help.
No, you're spot on. And that's one of the things they talked about yesterday. They said, so our congresswoman is she's going to the Department of Interior, and she's going to have to start now knocking on the doors of other members on both sides of the aisle in Congress. And they said, look, she says the embarrassing part is that she can't go and ask people for money while people here are still spending it like we still have it. And that's one of the things.
No, not the people. I wouldn't say the people, Brad. Let me intervene. I'm not saying the people. It's the government. All right?
The government,
so
you're right.
The people are just the receiver. The people are just the receiver of all of this stuff in lesser way of being served by these leaders who have abused a lot of our general public funds. That's my opinion. Again, I'm always making opinion. So they can all cry and angry about what I'm saying, but they need to start being responsible.
Well, I want to see where the cuts start from the elected officials, because if they're going to be implementing these austerity measures, you have to start at the top. And it doesn't rest with them, but if you don't see significant changes within the folks that we voted into office, and if you don't see them, putting their skin into the game, then it just looks empty. Now, Senate President Carl King Neighbor said yesterday, there's no way that they're going to implement these kind of measures without also having themselves be affected. But having them be affected, I think they've got to take it seriously and look about spending millions of dollars, because the amount of money they spend on those vehicle leases just for our elected officials is in the millions of dollars. You would save to see my millions of dollars.
Brad, I think my skepticism is more than what they're talking about. Now we're trying to receive the $29 million loan that have always been paid by the dividend of the investment of the money in MPLT. So now what? What is Rota and Tinian are trying to look at into this loan? All of this coming in as far as sitting down and talking about the budget, probably again by next week or next month, it's not really what it is, because everybody wants their own share on that $29 million. I'm thinking whether this discussion about, PSS and retirees versus the general, employee of the government and austerity and, laying off people, it's kind of like I'm feeling, it's almost like as if it's a repeat of previous administration.
Yeah, it certainly does. It's like a tactic.
That's a lot of energy and effort to go out there and, we can do this whole meetings and media and everything just to panic the whole entire island, because they want to, they don't want to be responsible for the mess of this whole entire, my goodness, it's very embarrassing when Palau probably is doing better, but other islands are doing better than Saipan, that is a U.S. Commonwealth. What is our leader doing? No, that's all I'm saying, Brad. I'm kind of skeptic as to how this thing is flowing. It is sad when people get suckered into having to listen to all of this sad information, the public.
Yep, I hear you. Hey, Fabian, if it was a regular morning, then I'd be having more time to talk about it. But I've got these folks in studio that are our guests today, and so I'm going to have to get to them. But
thank you very much, Matt. Thank you. I think I've expressed enough of my opinion.
Thank you so much. We're going to be talking more about it, but thanks for calling us today. I really appreciate it.
No problem, Brad. Don't worry about it. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, that's Fabian Indalacio weighing in. Hey, I just want to get into a couple of your comments there in the comment section. I could see you guys. By the way, you guys, thanks for all those. We saw some stuff, Ann said something. She's like, taking the family, visiting the island after 20 years and showing them everything that's closed down. Yeah, I know. It's awful. Alex says, hey, does the government get money from the airfield on Tinian? If so, what's the money used for? Just wondering. So the Air Force training's on FDM. Do we get money for that too? If so, was it being used for? Just wondering. Nothing against the military. We support the troops. Just wondering if the government gets some type of money and what it's used for. I could tell you about that because I know about that. So for just specifically for the airport part of Tinian, I know you're talking about the airfield, but just for the airport part in Tinian, that lease was reached 6 years ago. In 2019, the Divert Airfield Initiative for the military. So they leased it for $21.9 million. It's a 40-year lease between the Commonwealth Ports Authority and the CNMI government. That money is strictly with CPA because it's CPA land. That doesn't go to the local government. As far as the overall military lease area in Tinian, that airfield in Tinian and FDM, that was all part of the original agreement with the covenant and to lease that land. So that was all part of that originally. If you look in the technical documents from the covenant, technical agreement is what it's called. Here, I'm pulling it up now just to clear this up. Then after that, we're going to take a real quick break, guys. The technical agreement from 1975 included this in here, and we're going to put it on the screen so you guys can see it yourself. In case you're wondering what this is, what we're talking about, we're going to zoom in on it. And look at this. This is like old microfiche stuff. Look at, you can even see like the rusty paper clip. Oh, you can't see it because I didn't put it on your screen yet. It's on. There we go. So see, this is the actual, and you can find this for yourself if you want to look for it. It's under cnmilaw.org. I love it. All of our laws are on there, and then you can also see like the covenant itself. So this is under this under the technical agreement that allows the military to use the northern 2/3 of Tinian and FDM. I'm looking for it here. So it's the acquisition government of the Northern Mariana Islands or the legal land entity established in Northern Marianas. To receive and administer public lands in Northern Marianas immediately upon a request will execute the lease for the lands being conveyed to the United States as described above, which is those two. It says payment for lease will be made as soon as practical. All right, we'll get into that. That's a little bit lower in the agreement. Settlement of the claims and all this stuff. Let's see how far we got. UMDA is in there. Tinian, total approximately 6,458 acres. Out of a total of approximately 17,799 acres will be leased back from the land of Tinian. That's the MLA that they're talking about. For planned military activities, there will be no permanent construction without prior consent. FAA zone areas apply with respect to that. So it's all in there. So the money that was in there, let's just see if we can't find it in here, and then we're out of here. I know it's in there. I want to say it was like $88 million. I don't know why that's in my head that was the amount. Oh, see, here's even part of the Tenapag Harbor and everything like that too. Leasebacks, joint use. This is the wharf in Tinian. This is Westfield on there as well. Development costs, fuel supplies, utilities, all that. Well, so all that payment was stuff that was front-loaded when the covenant began. So if you're wondering, like, there's no new money coming in from that. But again, what Kimberly King Hines said yesterday in that briefing is that something that's on the table to get more money for the NMI is extending the length of that lease. Yeah. So anyway, here's all the stuff. These are, again, it's the technical agreement that's part of the covenant. And but I'll tell you what, I don't know this much about the place where I grew up. Like I love more about learning about what we've got going on here. So I can't tell you about much about Buffalo, but I can tell you more about Saipan. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a real quick break because we need. It's like you're. Imagine yourself being a fancy wine taster. We need to cleanse the palate. We need to get this bad taste out of our mouth because we're going to learn about some great stuff from some wonderful people that are here in the studio who've been sitting here listening to us talk for the last few minutes. And then we're going to talk about their great stuff coming up. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
All right, boys. You guys ready to see who got the longest bush?
Yeah, I got this. Let's go.
All right, boys. Let's go.
All right, boys. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Bush!
Link between a popular pain reliever and autism. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. That's the suggestion from President Trump warning pregnant women to not take acetaminophen, known by the brand name Tylenol.
What can you take instead? It's actually, there's not an alternative.
The maker of Tylenol already pushing back, citing previous studies. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Today, the FDA will issue a physician's notice about the risk of acetaminophen during pregnancy and begin the process to initiate a safety label change.
Health experts say the rise in autism cases is mainly due to a new definition that includes cases on a spectrum and better diagnoses. With a deadline for a partial government shutdown approaching, the White House says President Trump will meet this week with Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer and House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries. The Senate voted down two separate proposals last week, one from Republicans, the other from Democrats. The White House is hoping for a short-term plan to fund the government through the third week of November. ABC has ended Jimmy Kimmel's suspension, bringing Jimmy Kimmel Live back tomorrow night after comments he made related to the shooting death of Charlie Kirk.
In a statement, the company said, last Wednesday, we made the decision to suspend production on the show to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country. It is a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive.
Fox's Michelle Polino. At the UN General Assembly, Secretary General Antonio Guterres said the Palestinian statehood is a right, not a reward. This comes as the UN looks to build support for a two-state solution to the Hamas-Israel war. Earlier today, French President Emmanuel Macron said France recognized Palestinian statehood. America is listening to Fox News.
This is Jimmy Fallon, inviting you to join me for Fox Across America, where we'll discuss every single one of the Democrats' dumb ideas. Just kidding. It's only a 3-hour show. Listen live at noon Eastern or get the podcast at foxacrossamerica.com.
The man accused in the deadly shooting at a New Hampshire country club Saturday makes a first court appearance.
In a very brief hearing, a formal arraignment for Hunter Nato was waived, with the judge telling the defendant,
We're going to schedule this for a probable cause hearing, okay?
Okay. That was Nato acknowledging his next court date. He's right now facing only a second-degree murder charge in the death of Robert DeCesar, a guest at the Sky Meadow Country Club. Prosecutor Peter Hinckley is expecting more counts.
We understand and realize there are additional victims. We anticipate there will be additional charges that both relate to those victims who have not been named yet, as well as the murder victim.
The probable cause hearing is set for October 1st. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Prosecutors in Sacramento, California say Anibal Hernandez Santana, the man accused of firing a gun into an ABC affiliate station's office, had written notes in his car critical of the Trump administration and had a reminder in his home that read, "Do the next scary thing." No one was hurt in the shooting. A struggling airline is taking action to keep its business afloat.
Spirit Airlines is planning to furlough 1/3 of its flight attendants, another move by the bankrupt airline to slash expenses. The carrier is looking to furlough 1,800 of its roughly 5,200 flight attendants. Hundreds have already been out on voluntary leaves. And according to its COO, Spirit had reached the limit of what it could achieve through such measures. Flight attendants can volunteer for furlough, which will determine how many are voluntarily cut. Last month, Spirit filed for bankruptcy for a second time in less than a year after its first Chapter 11 process failed to address all of its financial problems, which include costly airplane leases and hefty labor costs.
Fox's Hillary Barsky. NASA's introduced its newest astronauts. The group of 10 includes scientists, engineers, and test pilots. I'm Lee Silasera. This is Fox News.
I'm Janice Dean. Join me every Sunday as I focus on stories of hope and people who are truly rays of sunshine in their community and across the world.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcast.com.
All right, folks, now you're all caught up with the latest news that's happening out in the world. You got a little bit of news, sports, and weather, and you get them all together. But right now, look at all those smiling faces. Can you believe there's actually 5 of them in there, but you can only see 4 of them because one guy is a little shy. He's just hiding there in the back. Good morning. We've got some great folks in the studio with us. Representing the Center for Living Independently. I love these guys, and I also love golf, even though I'm terrible at it. But we've got some folks who are going to be able to tell us about what's going on and a big fundraiser tournament that, if you're watching, you should be supporting. Good morning, you guys. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so let's talk about, let's get to the exciting stuff first. We could talk about the golf. You got the big golf tournament. This is the 20th anniversary for this golf tournament?
Yes,
for the center.
For the center.
Okay.
The center has been around for 20 years. This is our 20th year, and we thought, what a great way to kick it off with a golf tournament.
That sounds a good excuse for me to get out there. Sounds great. So maybe you got to tell us more about the Center for Living Independently.
Oh, I would
because,
love to.
You know, the tournament's one thing, but we got to know what we're supporting on there.
So basically, you're supporting the disability community. The center has 250 consumers that live in the home, and then 80 that come to the center on different days of the week. And these are all people with disabilities. We try to let them be independent in our community. We give them the skills to advocate for themselves. We give them the skills how to clean, how to keep, how to maintain a yard. We have a big, beautiful garden up there that the consumers really love to be inside and taking care of. So basically, we assist the disability community.
And I love it. Everybody, I made my best friend over there, Sherlyn. I know she's got other best friends, and it hurt me a little bit when I found out. But she said I was her best friend, and I'm like, all right, I got a friend at CLI. But you guys do a lot of great things. I've seen you guys in action. It's just amazing. I love not just the patients, but the partnership that you have with all the folks that are over there.
Right.
I love them.
They're amazing. It's just so surprising what they can do and what they can come up with, and they are totally amazing.
Well, almost as amazing as you guys. And let's talk about this golf tournament. This is to help you guys raise some funding for the great things that you guys are doing.
It is that, but we would really like to focus on the 20th anniversary. Miss Lydia Igato is the founding, and her family will be there at the tournament to support the center. And it's amazing that we've been here 20 years. Guam doesn't even have one, so I feel very fortunate that we are here, and thanks to the Igato family for their support in starting the center. And we try to keep it going and doing everything we can do, and of course the funding never hurts. We always need funding. The center gets $125,000 from the feds. That's it, to run the whole center. Wow. And it's not enough.
No way.
Not even close to enough. So we always need support from everybody. But
how many staff do you have?
We have a staff on Tinian, a staff on Rhoda, and then 5 at the center. So we write grants everywhere we can. We get all the support we can from the Disability Network community. And so this golf tournament we really want to celebrate. We've been here 20 years, which was a very difficult burden to be in the first place, but we're happy to be here.
I can't imagine running the organization that you do on $125,000. There's no way. I'm blown away right now. I can't possibly. You got so many people.
Right, and we serve so many people. We really need more staff, but we just can't afford it right now. We are working with USAID, the University Center of Excellence in Education, for a DIF grant that we're working on that will help us support us a lot.
Wow. Well, this is a pretty big deal. Man, I can't believe $125,000.
That's what we get from the feds.
Well, so the 20th anniversary, on top of the golf tournament, you have other activities going on?
Oh, we have a lot of activities going on. September the 30th, we're going to have 125 people at Crown Plaza. Oh, no. Yeah, Crown Plaza. And we're going to support that's going to be the high school kids and the disability community. And we're going to have a lot of fun things happening there, a lot of education going on, and ways that they can advocate for themselves.
I got to make sure, because something's coming to my mind here, that you guys have something else going on this week, right? There's something at Crown this week, but that's not it. I'm looking at, what, you guys have something, isn't there something you guys have going on at Crown? Yes, I Can?
No.
That there's a statewide independent living thing that's going on?
Next week, Tuesday.
Oh, that's next week,
Next
Tuesday.
week,
That's the 30th.
Yeah.
That's the big conference, CLI conference.
Yep, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah,
I'm
so
like,
it's the CLI conference, yes.
Well, that's going to be a really big deal. Is that
Yes.
all day?
It's all day, and there will be 125 people there.
What about the food pantry? Can you?
Oh, well, the food pantry is not there. We don't have it right now, that grant funding, but we did get grant funding to do a food pantry for Tinian, Saipan, and Rhoda. And we took, for Rhoda, we served 250 people with disabilities, and in Tinian it was 100. Rhoda's numbers were duplicated, but Tinian and Saipan numbers were not duplicated. When we did the food pantry in Saipan,
About 1,000.
there was 1,000 the second time, and those were non-duplicated, and the first time was also 1,000. That we
Wow.
gave everyone a case of chicken, a case of ribs, 50-pound sack of rice, and a case of milk, and some canned food.
Outstanding. You know, I know that you've got a couple of different groups of folks at CLI here. How does it work for Tinian and Rhoda? Do you have, like, what kind of numbers do you have for people over there?
We don't have a center on Tinian and Rhoda. We're very fortunate. The mayor of Rhoda has let us house our office in her building. So
Wow.
we have an office there in her building. And Tinian, we haven't been fortunate enough. We're looking for a place. We don't have a lot of money, so we're looking for a free place like what we did with Rhoda. And the mayor was very supportive, and we really appreciate her for allowing us to be a part of that building.
Well, she's great. I love Mayor Huckle. And I think Mayor Aldon, he seems really tied in with the community. I can't imagine he would do something like that too.
But he doesn't have space. So he's, renting a building. So we're looking for a space that would be appropriate for us.
Wow. All right, well, let's talk about this. So let's talk about some of the specifics of this tournament too. So how does this work?
Okay, so well, Susan reached out to myself and Uncle Tony to see if we can celebrate the 20th anniversary of the office, right? The CLI office, and what great way to do it, and do it through a golf tournament where actually somehow golfers and some businesses come up with funds to support the tournament. And the tournament is going to be on October 18th. And right now we're still looking for host sponsorships. And obviously there's 18 hosts. So we're hoping that we can double up on the sponsorship. And the sponsorship per hole is a minimum of $250. You don't necessarily have to be a business, but if you're a family of one that's who's a consumer, they call themselves at the center, or you are a family that knows a family member that's part of the CLI consumer family, right? Then there's different ways you can participate. So it's not because you're not a consumer doesn't mean that you can't help. So if you know of somebody that's taking part in the CLI services, then you should reach out to the office. We have the contacts that we're going to share in the next few minutes, but it's another great way for you to contribute to what CLI has been doing with the community.
And that's for whole sponsorship.
For the whole sponsorship. And then we have, which is a minimum of $250. So there's no cap to it. So we've done other tournaments where families have sponsored like 5 holes. And
wow.
Calculate that amount, right? So there's no max amount that you can hold, you can sponsor. And then we have title sponsors, which are platinum at 5,000.
Yes, 5,000.
Platinum ship at 5,000, and then goes down to the gold, silver, bronze, and we can get into the specific ones. We can get your contact, and we'll email you, or we can give it to you over the phone. So we have a few actually title sponsors that have reached out, been very supportive with this, and we have Bridge Capital as one of our silver sponsors, which is giving the program $1,500, and the Lieutenant Governor Dennis Mendiola's office at $1,000.
Wow!
So that's a great start. So,
but you need more. And October 18th.
Yes. October 18th, and we're hoping to get them at least a week prior. Get your names in a week prior, so that before the tournament, so that we can print out the banners and let you get you recognized during the event.
Like it's going to be like NMI News, sponsor #1 hole.
Oh,
so you get a banner.
So you get it there first.
Yes.
Yeah. And you get a banner. You will actually be recognized on the hole with your name on it, so that everyone will know that you are a sponsor of the Center for Living Independently.
I love it.
Yeah.
So it could be a small mom and pop store, $250 minimum, or major sponsors like hole-in-one sponsors and so forth. But the format of the tournament is 2-man scramble.
Oh, that's fun.
And, yeah.
Yes.
We have great prizes and the low gross and double PRF. I think there's close to 20 already that express interest.
Oh, okay.
And I think there's a team of 3 that already paid the entry fee, which is only $250 per team.
Wow, so we just got to get the word out and let people know, because people are going to sign up for this. So basically, $250 per team. That's a 2-person team, so it's like $125 per person.
Correct.
and it's a 2-man scramble, which is fun. Get your friend, get someone who's good, and you don't have to be good. Get someone who is.
Yeah, and the way the tournament is set up is we did it where any level can participate. So it's called a double Peoria format. So it gives anybody opportunity to win. So that's not necessarily a great low handicap player, but anybody that just wants to come out and play, so give them a chance to win. They do bad on 12 holes, they might have a chance to win the great prize.
I love it.
So there's different, there's first, second, and third prizes for the tournament.
The good news is I'm definitely going to do bad on 12 holes. So
Perfect.
let's got to wait for the good ones.
So you have the double Peoria and the gross.
Gross is actually, yeah.
So you have the single handicap players who fight it out, and
And then the double Peoria would be for everybody else. Yeah.
I love it. That's great. So
Great fun.
It's great fun and for a great cause.
Yes.
Because everyone can get behind this. Oh.
I was going to ask Tony, there's something that we're going to do different that you said had.
yeah, it's very unique. It's sponsored by
Training Solution, Jim Aronofsky.
Training Solution from Jim. He's sponsoring one par 3. It's going to be $250 closest to the pin, $175 the second closest, and $75 for the third one.
Whoa!
That's on one hole.
Now, every time that there's a tournament, I always see him at the same hole. Isn't he by 7 or somewhere around there?
The par 3s.
One of the par 3s.
He usually sponsored hole-in-one. He gave the center the option of $5,000 hole-in-one, and he'll donate $500. Or he'll donate $500 and gives $500 for closest to the pin, which is $250, $175, and $75.
So that means he would be paying $500 for the insurance for that $5,000 hole-in-one, right?
Uh-huh.
So
if he decides to pay for the insurance,
or right?
No, he didn't decide.
He gambles.
He didn't
decide.
He gave the center the option to choose.
Yeah. So that's either $500 that maybe somebody could win the $5,000 if they hit a hole-in-one, but if he can actually just give you guys $500 that you guys can divide up for those folks. So it's going to get paid out to somebody for sure. It's guaranteed there will be 3 winners as opposed to a maybe one.
So it's a $500 for the center and $500 for the players.
Wow, that's great. That's even better. So $1,000.
Big heart.
All right, Jim Aronofsky. Great.
Jim.
And
shout out, Jim.
Yeah, no kidding. What a great idea. How wonderful. So, and other people, that's open for other folks too. If other people want to get involved in Sponsor Hole, they can. So who do they reach out to, and how do they get a hold of you guys?
So the Center for Living Independently, we're located in Capitol Hill, building 1365 and 1366, or you can call 670-322-4303 or 4304.
Great. And then if we get this digital I think you guys may have sent this one to us also, but if you didn't, email that or just WhatsApp us that so we can post that on there for you. I feel like we did.
Yeah, we can do it again, no problem.
Yeah. And we'll post it again, no problem, too. I love everything that you guys do. You're great people. You're helping some really great people who otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to have all the experiences that they do and the benefits of interactions with folks that you have. And, I've heard more stories about it, but I've seen so much since I've been here, the difference of people bringing their kids and their family members out into the world where I didn't see a whole lot of that when I first got here. And now I do. I think I saw Sherlyn at soccer the other day.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Your sister plays soccer. And on the October 1st and October 2nd, we're going to go out to dinner with them, out to lunch, and we're going to give each one of them $15. And they have to spend within their limit. They have to know what they're buying, and they have to know what their change is coming back. So we're going to go to a restaurant in Saipan.
That's great. I just love it. Well, you guys are really changing our islands for the better. Our community is so much better with you guys. I love it. And every time I've gone to the center, I leave like feeling with a full heart every time I do. It's wonderful, you guys. And you guys get that every day. I mean, where do you guys go to feel good?
The center is getting better, but we're not getting better in golf.
No, this is true.
But we need to go out and practice and get better.
I need to pair with one of the folks from one of the consumers, and maybe we'll go out there and we'll do the tournament. It'd be a lot of fun. Hey, I know you guys have been doing some improvements little by little out there too, inside and outside. Anything new coming? Or has anything new happened?
Yes, we're waiting for HBO. They're going to renovate the older building. Should be within the next month or two. They renovated the 1366 and the 1365. And it's really cool inside. If you ever get a chance, come up. We're more than welcome to have anyone come inside and see what we do and enjoy get the ambiance.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love it. And that garden is no joke. I've been there, and it's great stuff. There's so much of it. And I love seeing the people working on it, too. It seems like they're right.
So what we do is we cook from the garden. So every month we learn a new culture. And in that culture, they take the herbs from that garden to cook for it. Like right now, right now, Tatu, what are we on?
We are on September Heritage Month. Rafael was Chamorro Heritage Month.
Yeah.
So basically our menus for the whole month is local. So we get all the herbs from our garden.
Does that include spam?
Healthy.
Yesterday the soup was amazing. What was the name of that soup?
It's a local atul soup with fish. Fish and rice.
And coconut milk. It was amazing. And then they had breadfruit as well.
So what time should I be there? Make sure.
11:30's lunch.
11:30's lunch.
I can go and bring over some avocados. We got a big avocado tree.
Is it bearing now?
It's bearing now.
Nice.
It's a late bloomer. The other one next door was already, so we got a few. But it's starting to bloom, and they're big. They're great.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to share about the CLI when they reached out to me to support them with the golf tournament. I actually went to the meeting focusing on the golf tournament, right? But when I sat there and I saw everything around me, everything that was happening, I saw the canned foods, I saw boxes, and I was trying to figure out where these things came from, and most of these were donated by the community, businesses, fruits, vegetables are coming from different farms. So I mean, I have a few banana trees out in the back, so I'm waiting. Once they start getting ready, then I can deliver them. So, just the community sharing their fruits and vegetables to the CLI really goes a long way.
Yes.
I mean, looking at the budget they have annually, right? Less than $200,000 with less than 7 staff that they have to work with.
Plus food, because we feed the consumers at the center. So
so the donations that come in from different families and farmers really helps a lot, and that actually changed my focus on the tournament. So I always tell my committees, like, we push the tournament, but you concentrate on the cause, why we're doing the tournament. It's for the consumers. It's not to win the golf tournament, right? Just to be there to celebrate with the consumers, right? So that's why I'm helping.
I love it.
Shirley and Brad said you're her BFF.
Yeah.
She is my best friend. I know. She said it. She said it. That's great that I get to saw her at soccer too. I'm like, I think that's her, but I can't tell. All right. Well, anyway, anything else? Any other shout outs, or we want to give people a reminder about anything?
Just come out, support a great cause. It's a small community that we're serving, but honestly, it's one of the best communities I've worked with so far.
And he worked at the golf before, so that's the best community.
That is excellent. Well, we look forward to supporting it. Again, contact. Who do they contact and how do they do it?
Myself, Susan Satur or Tildy Celapeo, Rosario, Zach Peter, Chris Celapeo, and Tiana Rangho. You can call the center at 670-322-4303 or 4304, and we pick up donations.
Oh, that's even better. And Chris is the secret Celapeo because he's hiding behind Tony right now. Now we got a bonus Celapeo. It says, Vince Titano says, woohoo, woo, go CLI team. It's like, Tats, where are you? There he is.
Hey, for the players, can reach out to Marco or
So,
me?
yeah.
Yeah.
Marco at 483-5462. So send me a WhatsApp.
8833. You guys know.
I love the commercial before. Hey, this is Tony.
That was handy.
Yeah, it was. I love that commercial. Like, we were running it. All right, well, that's what we got, and so thank you guys. The big tournament's coming up. It's October 18th. It's the 20th anniversary of the Center for Living Independently. They're kicking it off with a big golf tournament that's going to help them have the money to do the good things that they do. They only get $125,000 from the feds all year, and they've got 7 staff, and they've got a ton of consumers that they help in Saipan, Tinian, and Rota. And they are looking for you to either sponsor a hole, play in the tournament, or just give them some support some way, somehow. And trust me, you're going to feel way better doing that than you will with anything else you're going to spend that money on. So reach out to these folks and give them a hand. All right, folks, we'll take a quick break. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Great having you guys. All right, well, that was wonderful. It's such a better turn than what we were talking about earlier, I'll tell you that. All right, so I'm just going to see if the new update is ready, and if it is, I'm going to play it your way. We're going to run some commercials, and then we'll come back and we'll talk some more. We received some comments and some photos from you guys. We do have the new news update here, so let's get you some commercials first. We'll be back with more after this.
All right, boys, you guys ready to see who got the longest bush? Yeah, I got this. Let's go.
All right, boys, let's go.
All right, boys, ready? 3, 2, 1, bush!
Fox News. President Trump set to address the UN General Assembly tomorrow.
The White House says the president's speech will highlight the renewal of American strength and historic domestic and international accomplishments. Despite considerable effort, Gaza and Israel, along with Russia and Ukraine, have been thorns in the president's side. Russian President Vladimir Putin, who has been unrelenting in his assault on Ukraine, offered President Trump a one-year extension to the latest nuclear treaty, which limits nuclear weapons for both countries. Newly confirmed U.S.-UN Ambassador Mike Waltz warned during an emergency session Security Council meeting that NATO will be defended following multiple airspace violations by Russia.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff at the White House. Today, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said Palestinian statehood is a right, not a reward, while French President Emmanuel Macron said his country is recognizing the state of Palestine. This as Turkish President Erdogan tells Fox's Brett Baer through a translator he does not see Hamas as a terrorist organization.
I see it as a resistance group.
And Erdogan says Hamas is trying to protect themselves. President Trump suggesting a tie between a popular pain reliever and autism.
Federal health officials are advising pregnant women against taking acetaminophen, the active ingredient in Tylenol, unless they have a fever. This follows research from Harvard and Mount Sinai that suggests a possible link between use of the drug in early pregnancy and autism. The company that makes Tylenol maintains more than a decade of rigorous research endorsed by leading medical professionals, says there is no credible evidence linking acetaminophen to autism, and that without Tylenol, quote, women face dangerous choices, suffer through conditions like fever that are potentially harmful to both mom and baby, or use riskier alternatives.
Fox's Rich Edson in Washington. Medical experts say the rise in cases is due in part to better diagnoses. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey, I'm Trey Gowdy, host of the Trey Gowdy podcast. I hope you will join me every Tuesday and Thursday as we navigate life together and hopefully find ourselves a little bit better on the other side.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcast.com.
Attorneys for Karen Reed, the Boston area woman acquitted of killing her police officer boyfriend, are in court again as she faces a civil suit.
During a hearing for a pending wrongful death lawsuit brought by the family of John O'Keefe, the boyfriend Karen Reed was accused of killing. Her attorney, Damon Seligson, announced new civil allegations against several others. They include witnesses and investigators involved in her criminal trials.
Violations of Karen Reed's civil rights. In conspiracy, the claims against the Massachusetts State Police would be negligent training, supervision, and retention of Massachusetts State Police troopers.
An attorney for the O'Keefe family accused Reed of, quote, a campaign of misinformation. Reed was tried twice for murder in O'Keefe's 2022 death, the first ending in a hung jury and the second in an acquittal of the most serious charges. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Late September hurricane activity picking up on the East Coast, with Gabrielle strengthening into a dangerous Category 4 storm.
Gabrielle is passing east of Bermuda and forecast to track northeast and back out to sea, but kicking up huge swells from Bermuda's shores to the East Coast. Surfs up from North Carolina's Outer Banks, through the Mid-Atlantic and New England to the Atlantic shores of Canada. A dangerous time for Indian summer beachgoers with unguarded beaches and warnings of swells likely to cause life-threatening surf and rip current conditions. With two more areas of possible tropical development behind Gabrielle. Therese Crowley, Fox News.
At the box office this weekend, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle remains at number one, earning another $17.3 million. Jordan Peele's Him debuts in second place with $13.5 million. Third place goes to The Conjuring Last Rites, adding another $13 million in its third weekend of release. All the major indexes hit records on Wall Street. The Dow up 66 points. The Nasdaq gained 157. The S&P plus 29. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
It's Will Kane Country. Watch it live at noon Eastern, Monday through Thursday at foxnews.com or on the Fox News YouTube channel. And don't miss the show. Listen and follow the podcast 5 days a week at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts. Fox Sports Update.
The round of 12 underway in NASCAR's playoffs. Ryan Blaney taking the checkered flag at New Hampshire today, guaranteeing his spot in the final 8. He was 5th in the standings entering the day. In Formula One, four-time defending points champ Max Verstappen won his second straight race at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. He's 3rd in the standings. 1 week left in Major League Baseball's regular season. The Guardians saw their 10-game win streak snapped by the Twins 6-2 today. Cleveland trails Detroit by 1 game in the American League Central. The Blue Jays are the first AL team into the postseason, clinching a spot with an 8-5 win over the Royals. And the Reds have moved into the final wild card position in the National League, beating the Cubs 1-0, while the Mets lost 3-2 to the Nationals. Week 3 in the NFL, Eagles hosting the Rams.
Blocked again! This time Jordan Davis, the big man, looks for the icing on one big cake.
Courtesy Fox, Philly rallying from 19 points down and blocking that kick to hang on 33-26. The defending champs 3-0. The Colts are 3-0, cruising past the Titans 41-20. The Browns got their first win and handed the Packers their first loss 13-10. Without quarterback Joe Burrow, the Bengals took the worst loss in franchise history, 48-10 to the Vikings. The Bucs beat the Jets 29-27 on a field goal as time expired. The Commanders beat the Raiders 41-24 behind backup quarterback Marcus Mariota. The Jaguars beat the Texans 17-10. Panthers got their first win 30-0 over the Falcons. The Steelers beat the Patriots 21-14. In the late games, the Bears and Cowboys tied at 14. The Niners and Cardinals tied at 3. All Seahawks 35-3 over the Saints, and the Chargers lead the Broncos 10-6. Hockey Hall of Famer Bernie Parent has died. The goalie led the Flyers to their only 2 Stanley Cup titles in 1974 and 75. He was 80 years old. For more scores, stories, and features, go to foxsports.com. I'm Tim McMaster.
Get more on the Fox Sports app and foxsports.com.
This is Jimmy Fallon, inviting you to join me for Fox Across America, where we'll discuss every single one of the Democrats' dumb ideas. Just kidding. It's only a 3-hour show. Listen live at noon Eastern or get the podcast at foxacrossamerica.com.
If you see something, say something, and stay anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers at 234-7272 or submit a tip online at nmicrimestoppers.com. No names, no caller ID, no recordings, just your info. And if your tip leads to an arrest, you could earn up to $1,000 in cash. Your tips have helped take hundreds of criminals off the streets in the NMI. It works because of you. Crime Stoppers, we want your information, not your name. PHI is your local pharmacy serving customers in Cagman, Garapan, and Dandan since 1996. Shop PHI Pharmacy for all your prescriptions, and we even offer a large line of multivitamin supplements. Our Dandan location is open weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 4 on weekends. Or visit our Garapan and Cagman locations weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 1 on Saturdays. Check us out online at phipharmacy.com or follow us on Facebook. PHI is a locally owned independent community Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Wake up, sunshine, it's a brand new day. Brad's got the stories that'll light your way. Take a smile on his face, he's ready to share. Share. Good morning, Marianas. Feel the love in the air. Good morning, Marianas. Come join the fun. Together we'll shine like the morning sun.
With the waves crashing in, hear the ocean's call. Brad brings the news that connects us all. From the islands to the world, Coast County wish. Good morning, Marianas, the best time of the year.
Good morning, Marianas. Let's start the day. Laughter and stories, come what may.
All righty, welcome back, Marianas. It is 9:28 in the morning here on Tuesday, September 23rd. And getting back to some of the stuff that we were talking about today. We've been talking about a lot. We've been talking about the budget, and we just got off for a little while so that we could talk with good folks over at the Center for Living Independently. They're celebrating their 20th year of existence here in the Marianas, and they're going to be doing it with a golf tournament. That's not the only thing, but a big fundraising golf tournament. They only get $125,000 a year for their whole office, and that's from the feds. And they've got 7 people on their staff. They take care of so many great folks over there. They're officially called consumers, but they are really just friends and family in our community. And they are wonderful folks. And man, I love everything about those guys. And the more that we could do to support them, the better. Anyway, that's where we were for a little bit while we were talking about the budget. And I was getting back into it, and I was looking for more of the specifics about the lease between the military and the CNMI with regards to Tinian and Farallon de Medinidza. And I did find something else. This is more old documents that you can find online, and is wonderful stuff. This is not classified stuff anymore, but this is from the GAO out in Washington, D.C. And again, all unclassified stuff. But this is like 1982 era. Look at all this stuff, like how old this stuff is, right? So these were some of the different ideas that were floated with regards to the funding for all the areas leased in Tinian and FDM. And you can see in here, I don't think I'm able to highlight any. Oh, you can. That was it, that the 19.5 million is what the renewal rights were gonna be, but then it got bumped up to 33 based on the value of the dollar and what they thought that the land was actually worth for another 50 years of leasing the islands. I imagine that number jumps up significantly if they want to add another massive amount of like 30 or 40 years to the lease for Tinian and FDM. And so, $1982, let's just find out. I'm curious. And let's take that dollar amount right there. Let's take 33,517, 763, value of 1982 USD compared to 2025. And let's find out. So $690 according to this in 2013dollars.com, that in fact we can open up that page, that $690 in 1982 is equivalent to $2,354. I mean, whoa, that's more than triple the amount. And you would think that, here, let's do this. Here's your 1982. Let's calculate. Please enter a number. I did enter a number. Maybe you just don't like commas. Is that it? Okay, calculate. Says the same thing. All right, let me get rid of the commas and see what happens. No, I don't want your inflation updates. Let's just talk about this. Doom, 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 doom. There we go. Let's find out if that gives me a new number. Yeah, so $33 million in 1982 is worth about, so 33.5 in 82 is worth about 112 million today. So that's just a little tip if we're talking about if they're looking for another 30 or 40 year lease for that same land area. Maybe that's what we end up going with. Maybe that's the ask for us. But I'll tell you what, we need a lot more than $112 million. That might get us through 1 year of what's going on right now. And that's 1 year. And do you think that we would change our spending habits if we had all the money? No, because we didn't when we got that over the past 6 years. So I don't think that anything would change yet. But that could be it. When they said that it's on the table, if you're just looking at what the value of the dollar was, and if you're using the exact dollar amount, and maybe the value is higher because the strategic importance now is a lot higher than it was in 1982. You got to use what we've got to our advantage, just like how we're looking at trying to bring new industries that aren't tourism here to try and bring money to the Marianas. That's one way of doing it. And I'll tell you what, this looks a lot better than this. Again, right? This is what they're looking at. They only offered 2 scenarios yesterday. And that's what happens if we have a 64-hour pay period or a 55-hour pay period. And I don't know if that's the steepest austerity cut, but why is it the first thing that they're going to? Why is cutting I know it's the biggest part. It's the biggest piece, right? But why doesn't it say like costs reduced for other services? What are your elected officials going to do to start with them? It's a real question. It's not pointing the finger. It's not accusing anybody. It's not putting anybody on the spot, but it's got to start with you. If you are doing stuff for your office, everybody in the CNY, again, the main thing is because our leaders yesterday, like you heard it from Kimberly King Hines, she said yesterday that the Department of the Interior is not going to bail us out if we're not making significant changes to how we operate and how we do business. If our government offices are spending money like we still got it, we are not going to get help from them. And I'll tell you what, fun fact, they are spending money. I'm telling you, man. When I asked that question about the vehicles yesterday, when I asked the question to the legislators, I thought they were going to Superman burn a hole through me with the glare that I got. At least that's how it felt. Like, why you put me on the spot? I'm like, all right, well, what are you already talking about? You said you've been talking about it for a week, and you've only got another week before this thing rolls out, before the budget passes. So what's going on? Have you guys figured this stuff out, or are you guys still doing studies? Right? And no, I'm not better. I don't have those answers. I'm not saying that you guys aren't doing none of that stuff. So don't get it twisted. Everything's cool. But really, if it's not starting with you, if you're not starting with your office, everybody in the government right now, if based on this mandate that we just got from our elected officials, we just heard it yesterday, everybody who is in that room, everybody who's dealing with this should be looking at the mirror right now and saying, what can I do, starting with me? Starting with my position. That's what everybody should be doing. And not saying, why me? You should say, what can I do? Where does it start with my office first? And not just your office, with you in particular, right? That's got to be the attitude for this. And any other attitude about it, like if people don't want it to start with them, then are they the right person for that job? I mean that, and I don't mean it to be a jerk about it, but it shouldn't be, why does it have to be me? The question is, how can it start with me and go out? That's it. If it's everybody who's in the government, and I get it, federally funded positions aren't affected. I totally understand that, and that's fine. But positions that aren't federally funded, yeah, they do matter. And I mean, I'm thinking seriously about these vehicles, guys. The first thing that they're looking at, cutting the pay periods and cutting your work hours. If they're not cutting stuff first before the people, I know the easy thing is to cut the people because it's an easy one because we have a big amount of people working. But every time that somebody's talking about cutting the expenses in the government, I know they got to do it fast because they only have a few days left. I mean, there's only 7 days left in the month, right? So, but wouldn't you give up your government vehicle, your government funded vehicle, so you could keep staff there? I mean, seriously. I'm not saying this to be a jerk, and I'm not pointing you guys out. And if you feel like you're getting the finger pointed at you, it's not. That you're internalizing that thing, man. I'm telling you. That is an easy way of getting rid of it. If you are spending $1,000 or more a month on a leased vehicle with government money, and I'm not talking about like your work truck. And by work truck, I mean you are the guy who works for the maintenance division of PSS, or you work for you're one of the line crews. I'm talking about if you're daily driver vehicle is paid for by taxpayers, should it be? I don't think so. None of you. No. I mean, does the governor need to have yes, because he's got a driver with the security and all that. That's different. But every other elected position does not need to have a personal driving vehicle. Brad, that side by the. I know. But If you're talking about, oh yeah, Alexander says cut the Commonwealth Casino Commission. Yeah, mission accomplished. Right? But it's all those things. It is not a bottomless pit, clearly, because the bottom has fallen out. We don't have the money. And I'm saying vehicles because it's an easy, low-hanging fruit. You don't have to do any research on that one. You don't. You don't need to do research on that one. You don't. That's it. Now, I do have an exception on there. I think that if you are a senator or a representative from Rhoda, you need to have an office vehicle here in Saipan. Yes. Also, don't think it needs to be a badass four-wheel drive or SUV, because you still live in Rhoda or you live in Tinian. You just need a get around from your house or from wherever you're living in Saipan while you're here to do your work stuff, right? I know a lot of folks, they've got a residence here. That's why I think it should be a government-funded thing, where the government takes care of all that. And then they get rid of that discretionary amount, right? That subsistence allowance because the folks from Tinian and Rhoda absolutely should have something extra if they're representing their islands in the government functions here in the capital of the Marianas in Saipan. Yes. But it should be way less. And it should be just have like Tinian House and Rhoda House, whatever it is, as like I'm not saying they all have to live together in a house, but an apartment building that's maintained by the government for them. And that's it. It's not living in the lap of luxury. And you don't need a banging four-wheel drive, full-size truck or SUV. If you want to buy it, yes, you should do it. 100%. 100% if you want to buy it, you should. But the taxpayers should not be paying for it. That's what I'm saying. Taxpayers should not be paying for your badass government vehicle. It shouldn't be that way. There's no way you can rationalize it. You just can't. There's no way. What's happened, it's not your fault, though. Over the time, it's been more acceptable and all that, but there's no way you can rationalize it today. And in saying because it's always been done, that's not acceptable. It's not. And hey, nobody's pointing the finger saying it's your fault. Just be the person who does it first. The person who starts walking that stuff back. And don't be upset when you hear this kind of stuff. We literally are not have money. There's people who are going to lose their jobs, and the people who still have their jobs are going to lose money from their regular salary because you want to keep your fancy butt in that fancy truck or that fancy SUV that the taxpayers are paying for. I'm telling you, that $1,000 plus a month that you're paying. Well, I got to get to my constituents. You could do that in your Echo. They don't make them anymore. All right, fine. But what I'm saying is you could do that in your personal car and you get your gas allowance. Fair enough. That's it. Yeah, but I got people who live. Yeah, all right. Well, they get there. You can get there too. Well, I shouldn't have to damage my vehicle. It's not damaging your vehicle. Now, can I take the news van of justice, like off-road all the way to Naftan? No. I don't have any constituents out there either. But you know what? Your constituents found a way how to get out there. You could too. Yeah, so looking at this, Alex says 2025 Frontier TRD Pro. Well, Frontier's they got a different, I think they're like TRX or something, right? I forget what they are, but I know that Toyota's TRD. But for some government vehicles and only one driver usually use a Prius to save gas. Yeah, I'm telling you, there's not a single elected official who should be driving around in one of those things unless they're paying for it themselves. You, as a taxpayer, should not be paying for so-and-so's full-size Tundra that they use. It's not a perk of being a lawmaker. It's not. It's not a perk. It should not be a perk to have, it's my office's budget. I should be able to do anything I want with it. All right. Then you should be ashamed of driving that badass vehicle if the taxpayers are paying for it. It should be a mark of shame. Unless you paid for it yourself, it should be a mark of shame. Hey, and I'm telling you, this goes to everything. We're looking at all of them. They should rent smaller car and cheaper too. Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. I'm telling you, I also asked them about what about the meals at the board meetings? Nobody said anything about that either. Somebody jokingly said, "Oh no, not the food. We can't stop that." Look, if you can't, like everyone agrees on one thing in that room. Everybody agreed that we need to make cuts, and everybody agreed that we need to make some changes. But nobody, when you start talking about what those are, people don't want to do it. You could see it. The idea of not having food at a board meeting, my gosh. The idea, the audacity of asking legislators to give up their taxpayer-funded vehicles. The audacity. How dare you ask that question? Dude, it's serious. But they're okay with cutting your job, and they're okay with reducing your salary. But if that doesn't get you pissed off, I don't know what will. If that doesn't get you upset to the point where you want to make some changes, then I don't know what will. But guys, I understand it's nice being in charge. It's nice being in those great positions. But if you're not willing to make those decisions for yourself and feel the brunt of these changes yourself, man, it's tough to see. It's tough to watch. I know that the people who are in office, they know that they got elected. They know that it's you who elected them, and they know what they need to do if they want to keep your vote. They know what they need to do if they want to stay in office, and they know what they should do. Question is, where do you want to draw the line? Well, fat, I'm only making $32,000. You're going to take away my car? Yes. Yes. You made a choice. You knew how much money that your office made when you took that job. But let's be honest, man. Are you really only making $32,000 a year? Or are you cashing checks out of your discretionary account? You know the answer. I know what it is. You know what the answer is on that. Yeah, Tobot says there's a bunch of vehicles at procurement. Tell them to go have a look and see. I'm telling you, the guy who gets, the man or woman who gets my vote is the man or woman who's in office who starts cutting the fat and starts with them. They're not all running for the same position next year anyway. Especially Precinct 3. There's going to be some big changes over there because two of the heavyweights aren't even going to be running for Precinct 3. They're going to be running for a governor and lieutenant governor. So that's two big seats. That's an area of opportunity for would-be politicians to get in there and make some changes. That's a big deal. And what do you guys think? Are you happy with this stuff? Can you imagine? Look, Plan A right now is to tell people you can't travel and we're going to take your money away. And we're also going to borrow $29 million just to make that amount. Where are the changes? At least PSS came out with something. Is it the best plan? I don't know. But at least PSS said, hey, you only get aircon for 5 hours. Where are the other things coming from the other government offices about anything right now? There's nothing. We haven't heard anything yet. The only thing that we heard is not that we're going to try to save money in other places, other than we're going to try to reduce the number of duplicate positions. That's good, by the way. So they have to do like a full-on audit. That's going to take a long time. They're talking about merging agencies. That sounds good. That's a good plan. And they were also talking about this. Austerity cut, no travel. But that's the first thing. The budget scenarios right now, where are those things? Every freaking office should be talking about this. If I was in the House of Representatives, the first thing is, look, can you look at your employees in the face, your staff for your office, and tell them that you're going to take their money of like 64 to 55 hours per pay period, but you're still going to be riding around in your full-size Tundra or your full-size Frontier's the small one. What's the big one for the for Nissan? Titan? Yeah. Can you? Oh, I like this. Somebody just sent a message, says if the argument is that the vehicle is part of their employment package, then they should be paying taxes on it. I love that. I love it. I'm telling you, the executive director of so-and-so, the commissioner of so-and-so, like these other agencies, they should not be getting company vehicles. Not when we're living like this. Not when we're living like this. And if the argument is we're not going to get people to do it, you think that the people who are, it's a nice perk. I can tell you that. What a difference it made when I got my gas paid for. It's nice when you're not having to go to the pump and pay for it yourself. All of a sudden, you could sit in your car with the aircon on and not worry about it. You could drive to all these things. I still do it anyway. But when you don't have to think about it, it's great. And then when you think about how much money you're spending on gas, you find out pretty quick what a good benefit that is. Not to mention if you have the car itself. The not having to pay for the maintenance and all that other stuff. Should not be. And if it is, if you agree that these positions, the elected officials and the appointed officials in the different line agencies, if you believe that they should have the vehicle, then I could get on board with that if that gets regulated. Yeah. Oh, so hold on one second. I just saw something. I can't see the whole message though. It says increased tax collection enforcement is a good idea, but you have to hire a stable attorney to do that. A stable of attorneys, probably, right? Yeah, I get that. I'm sure you don't just mean someone who's like not unstable, right? I know what you mean. That's a good one. But like tax collections shouldn't be what you're looking at first. The tax collection is important, right? But I mean, the first thing is shouldn't be taxing the people that you're cutting their salaries. You should be looking to do more taxes on all that stuff. You should be looking at is reducing what we're doing in the first place, right? I mean, you should be looking at lowering the taxes and lowering the taxable liabilities that we've got out here to fund all these different things that we don't have. They hit the nail on the head when they said that they want to eliminate the duplication of functions. I remember when Governor Torres was in and we had a bunch of money and all that other stuff, he was hiring people all over the place for different things that were definitely duplicating functions of people. And we had the money to deal with it, so it didn't really hurt. But now we still have a lot of those things. And by the way, that's not saying that that's Governor Torres' fault. He wasn't the only one, right? There's a lot of different folks who do that. So I totally get that. But shrinking the size of the government we have, where it's possible, needs to happen, right? But you can do it without scaring the crap out of people and taking all their stuff. You could do it without cutting everybody's hours down to there. A 55-hour pay period, and you're going to raise taxes? You need to cut. The whole reason why you're raising taxes is to pay for what we've got. The thing is that what we've got is too big. The liability that we have is too big. So we need to look at that first. And the easy, low-hanging fruit is that. Hold on one second. I know that's Dave over there, and I got to make sure I got you on the microphone here. Is that David from Tinian?
Hey, Brad.
Hey.
Good morning, Mariana.
Good morning. Thanks for calling. How you doing?
struggling, but, one day at a time and, move forward.
I hear you. We're part of that same club.
Yeah.
So what's going on?
Well, Glenn, not much. Just listening in to, I would like to put on my 2 cents on what's really happening right now, even as we speak.
Yeah.
It's in dire need of not dwelling at the past, do not cry over spilled milk. We do understand that in the past, when we deal in the past, we're never moving forward. So now it's in dire need of solution and coming together, united, as Congresswoman Kimberly King Hines stated, the house is on fire. So the whole CNMI needs to be ready to extinguish that fire and not go off course, so that we're sending one message, and the ask is a bailout. Straight up forward. That's the only way we can get help. And maybe we're going to have to add that 29 million, show the Fed government, the government, the federal government, that, and sending a signal that we are sacrificing at least maybe 50% of whatever is in the MPLT investment. The last time I checked, I stand corrected, when I was the ambassador board for DTL, Brad, was 183 million in investment. Now, I think it's more. So let's add the 29, and the only thing that's holding that back is the repayment plan. It has to be really substantial, concrete evidence that you will repay at a certain time and the duration of the loan, and never miss a payment. That's the only thing that's holding that. To give the money, it's there. They have a fiduciary duty too at the board, that they have to protect the investment. So let's try and get that. Maybe all the people's opinion, Brad, are really, really substantial and concrete evidence that we should learn from the past and move forward. And it's a learning moment that we all drop the ball, maybe. The cut is going to have to start from the top bottom. But when you're cutting everyone, and then you reduce buying power, that will reduce to the collection at the end of the fiscal year in order for you to function. So you still keep digging bigger hole in the for everyone. Now, CNN is the hottest now for the economy. It's just enforcement and more transparency to the public, and so that we're sending a signal that we are in constant lookout for duplication and wasteful spending. And we need to really tackle infrastructure in order for us to compete in this Asian market of having a great enforcement, safety, and so that we can rule those things out. Cutting is not going to do it. You're just going to dip in the wound. I'm not an economist, but it's just common sense. And we have to bring up the Senate and the CNMI and the legislature and the governor and Kimberly. They need to draft up a big, beautiful bill and be in line with Donald Trump's executive orders. That's important. But we have a lot of federal funded that's been dilapidated, never been maintained. It sends a signal that we don't really need that structure. We don't really need that building. We have a lot of buildings that's been neglected, and we can revive it and renovate it so that we can ease the pain from the government instead of renting. They have a situated up at MDC, and it's a public land. There's a lot of rooms there, more than 15, 20 rooms, concrete. They can turn that into an office and start rooting out the problems. So instead of public land leasing a land, or that would damage to the rental for private, but unfortunately we have to face the consequences, and it's the truth. Like Governor Apateng said, no lies. This is the truth. So the governor is sending a signal that we're in dire need of solution, not criticism and pointing fingers as who in the past. But like he said, and Kimberly King stated, that if there's no sense of direction, and she said it real well, even the Senate president mentioned, it's going to start from the top down. But the more you cut, the more you dig yourself, because at the end of the year, there's no buying power for people to go out, especially if they're doing the holiday season. People are running 100 million miles to make ends meet now, preparing for all that. So, well, God bless CNMI. God bless America. And let's come all together so there's a peaceful solution for everyone. Let's add that 29 million loan to maybe at least 60 million loan so that we'll put to a stop, no cuts, the people and the bailout that we will receive. Let's pray for it. Thank you, Brad. And I think that's let's pray and hope. I'm hopeful that there'll be solutions for our people.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That was all great stuff, Dave. Every point, I think you're nailing it. Yeah, can you hear me? You still there? Well, I guess not. I guess we lost them. But we heard you all the way, Dave. If you're still able to listen to us, we heard you all the way. We even heard you say hello a couple times at the end. So thanks for calling in and letting us know. But again, this is the main thing. We heard it yesterday, almost $23 million less than what they were working on for fiscal year 2026. And these are the solutions that they're looking at right now. There was something else that they put on the screen that was from an economic study that they did 6 years ago. The situation 6 years ago is quite significantly different than now, because then we actually had tourists. Right now, we don't have any. Okay, there is a few, but not many. And you could tell by the number of convertibles that aren't driving around. Like literally, that's it. That's like the weather report when you look outside of what's the weather like outside? Oh, it's sunny right now. You look outside, and then by the number of brightly covered or colored convertibles, that's how you could tell if we've got, that's your litmus test for our tourism market. And man, it is not looking great right now. And that's it. So Kimberly King-Hines, our U.S. Congresswoman, going to work for us quite a bit. She's going to be talking to different folks in Congress and going on Capitol Hill. And she said she's going to be talking to folks on both sides of the aisle. Because the folks on her side of the aisle aren't really big fans of things like this. They're not a big fan of bailouts. Let's find out what we got here. Sorry. Ooh. Okay, let's see if I can open this up here. Oh, wow. The number of folks, this is really, you can send me the best stuff. This is about employees per year by each office, and the number of folks, the count of full-time employees. Are these full-time employees? Per year, per agency? Okay. Well, we're going to... Wow. All right. So this is essentially reflecting the increase of personnel from all those years. That's what we're looking at here? Because that's how I'm reading it right now. And we'll share this. But that's what we're looking at here. That's pretty heavy. Wow. And because that is massive. Wow. All right. So the increase of personnel in all these different offices over that was over a 7-year period. Like this, the mayor's office has increased by 39%, DPS by 25%. This is since like I'm just looking so I can see you're typing. Make sure I'm not tripping all over myself. I mean, finance has been massive. Natural resources, fire, governor's office, corrections, DCCA. Geez. Oh, well, this one had to jump, right? Because we went from a regular office. Yeah, they are kind of old. Yep. So hopefully we can get newer ones on this. But that's massive. And what a cut for those other agencies over here. That's pretty massive. All right. Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to revisit this afterwards because I don't think I can digest it and in real time. But just going into, because we're not going to stay on all day, even though that there's plenty of stuff to talk about with this stuff. I mean, basically, right now, what we need to do, you got our congresswoman who's going to be trying to get us federal money, working with everybody. And you've got our local folks whose job it is now to try to cut the fat and reduce all that stuff, because one of the conditions of getting federal assistance is showing that we're changing the way we do business here. One of those is that we're supposed to push through with the $29 million loan from MPLT. And then what? Again, you're looking at those hours right there, 55-hour pay periods versus 64-hour pay periods. Which one do you think they're going to go for? I know which one you want, but look at that. The retirees are going to be screaming if people who are working only get 64-hour pay periods. And so will PSS with only $32 million. And that still includes them getting the money from their part of the loan coming from MPLT. Gonna be, whew. They gotta cut other places. Do we cut school buses? No. Do we cut the vehicles that people get? There's a great start. Now I know that's not gonna be super happy for the auto industry here, but we're not talking thousands of vehicles, so maybe they can calm down a little bit. But if people are going to pay for them themselves, that's fine. But I don't think we as taxpayers need to pay for so-and-so's fancy vehicle. Like, residents of Precinct 3 don't have to pay for their Precinct 3 representative's awesome car. And Precinct 4, and Precinct 5, and Precinct 1, and Precinct 2, and all of them, and Tinian Road, right? I get it. Not singling out anybody. Doesn't matter what precinct, I just said 3. But that's it, right? It should not be your tax dollars that pay for their fancy cars. Except for the governor. The governor needs to have a car that he can drive with a driver and VIPs that are going to ride with him. Our governor needs to have something like that. I'm with that. Lieutenant governor too? I guess. But everybody else is in the know. No, I'm telling you, not anybody else. Nobody else needs it. Nobody else needs it. Executive director of so-and-so, don't need it. Commissioner of so-and-so, don't need it. The company car, it's a nice thing, but you're looking at trimming the fat, that's it. And they shouldn't be pissed off hearing it. They should be the ones initiating it. All right, I think that's about it for today. I mean, how much more can we talk about how sad the situation is, right? I mean, that's about what it is. By the way, we were going to show this press conference this morning, so we're going to end up posting it, though. But President Trump today, as our show was beginning, gave a live press conference from the White House urging pregnant women not to take Tylenol. And holy crap, all hell broke loose. They're linking Tylenol to autism. AP's reporting that, there's nothing proven in here. But that did not help Tylenol's stock market share. Hold on, let's see. Tylenol said, no, it's not true. Tylenol stocks. And let's see if we could get a real-time look at it. But it must have just tanked after hearing all this stuff. Yeah, I mean, this was 2 hours ago. It says Tylenol maker Kenvue plunges because of it. They've lost over 7% already, which is just crazy. Let's see, Market Watch. Let's see if I can find this stocks. Just want to see what they went to. Dun, dun, dun. I just want to be able to show you a cool graph. Is really what it is. And I was watching all the comment sections. People are like, no, that's not true. I can't believe they're saying this and all this stuff. I don't know. You can't tell who's an expert in the comment section. Well, anyway, I think we'll get more on that tomorrow. But anyway, that's the thing. They opened quite a bit higher, so we'll see how that works out when the stock market's open again tomorrow morning, because they just got socked. Let's see what else they said. Tylenols, they're saying, hey, we're fine. That's BS. There's another group saying that that's not accurate. But I mean, the president was specifically saying, don't take Tylenol if you're pregnant, unless you got a fever and there's nothing else. And he's like, yeah, unless you can't take it out. Oh, sorry. Oh, you know what? I got your comment a couple of minutes too late about what about their wives. Yeah. I'm guessing you're talking about travel for elected officials and all that other stuff. Your wives should not be getting vehicles out of it at all. Like, there's none. Yeah, I don't see that. Not here. Unless they buy them for them, right? But the taxpayer should be footing the bill for... and if you're talking about, like, First Lady stuff, I don't know. I think... I don't know. Yeah, I got to think about that. I don't really think the First Lady needs a driver and a vehicle. Unless there's been a real security study done saying that there's a legitimate security risk for our First Lady, I don't think that's the case. This is not accurate. Like, it certainly doesn't feel like that here. So, I mean, I would say that it's a nothing. Like, I don't think that the First Lady, I'm not talking about, like, well, there isn't one right now, so that's fine. But I mean, I think that's it. I don't think the First Lady needs a driver and a vehicle. I don't think that the driver and the vehicle is necessary and a PSD for the First Lady. I don't think it is. I think it's convenient and it's nice. And if there was an actual security threat there, yeah, sure. But like, you want your governor to have a personal security detail. I think that's good. I think that the First Lady would get looped in if she's with the governor. But outside of that, I don't think it's necessary. I definitely think we get a little OBA when it comes to security stuff there, because there's so many outside influences for folks who want to give us money to do that, so they can wield a little extra influence in here. I just don't like it. So I don't think it's necessary unless someone else is paying for it, but it shouldn't be the taxpayers. That's my take on that. Yeah, but what if something happens? What if something happens to anybody? Just live in a safer community. We need to live in a better place, and that's it. I mean, that's what it comes down to. All right, guys. Well, I think that's good enough time for us to wrap up today, and so let's call it at that. I got to gear up. I got a couple of big meetings going on today. And, we'll go from there. All right, folks. Well, thanks for tuning in. It's been great being with you, getting you all the updates, news, sports, weather, everything that's happening out here in the Marianas. It is 10:13, so that means it was a long show, and it looks like we got some long days ahead, but we're going to get through it, Marianas. No matter what, all this doom and gloom with regards to the budget and all that, the thing is that we're going to end up looking back on it at one point and be like, yeah, that sucked. But we are going to get through it. We get through everything, and we're going to get through this. The best part is, though, we're going to get through it together, and that's going to be cool. We're not pointing fingers at each other. What we're doing, we're reaching out and helping each other out, and we're going to get through this thing. So, put your hands in. Ready? Marianas on 3. 1, 2, 3. Marianas. All right. There we go. There's your pep talk for the day. Have a great one today, Marianas. We'll be back again, and, tomorrow morning on Good Morning Marianas. Take care.
Wake up, sunshine, it's a brand new day. Brad's got the stories that'll light your way. Take a smile on his face, he's ready to share. Good morning, Marianas. Feel the love in the air. Good morning.
ocean's call. Rap brings the news that connects us all. From the islands to the world, those kind of wish. Good morning, Marianas, the best time of year.
Good morning, Marianas. Let's start the day. With laughter and stories, come what may.
All right, boys, you guys ready to see who got the longest bush? Yeah, I got this. Let's go.
All right, boys, let's go.
All right, boys, ready? 3,